You know, sometimes the most amazing stories are hiding right in front of us, written in a language we don't immediately get. In this explainer, we're going to decode one of those documents, a secret manuscript that promises a wild mix of spiritual power, ancient martial arts, and even divine protection.
Okay, so take a look at this. What we have here is a hand-brushed document from the early 1900s. You can just feel the history, right? The aged paper, the confident, flowing ink strokes. It definitely has a purpose, but at first glance, it's just covered in these characters and symbols that are, well, they're pretty baffling.
So, what is this, really? A letter? Maybe a poem? A piece of art? The truth, as it turns out, is way more interesting. Let's start piecing together the clues, which are all hidden right here on this single page.
Okay, Section 1, the Golden Bell Shield. And that title alone tells us we're not just looking at some random text. No, this is a manual, a guide for how to achieve something pretty extraordinary.
Now, if you lean in and look really closely, you'll see that one phrase is written over and over and over again, almost like a chant. These four characters,金钟护身, this is our first major clue. It's the key that's going to start to unlock this whole mystery for us.
And the translation? Well, it changes everything. Golden Bell protects the body. Whoa! All of a sudden, this isn't just some abstract writing. This is an incantation, a declaration of protection. Which, of course, brings up a couple of big questions. Protection from what? And how? Well, that phrase points us directly to a legendary practice called Jin Zhang Jiao, or the Golden Bell Shield. You might have also heard it called Iron Shirt. It's this intense form of hard qigong, a whole system of meditative breathing and physical exercises. And the entire goal was to train your body to withstand incredible force, making you practically invulnerable to swords or fists. So think about what that means. We're not just reading a history about the Golden Bell Shield, we are looking at the instructions themselves. This manuscript is a literal how-to guide for performing a spiritual ritual to create your own shield of invulnerability. All right, on to Section 2, a pantheon of protectors. Which makes total sense, right? If you're doing a ritual to get divine protection, the next logical question is, who exactly are you asking for help? Well, luckily for us, the text doesn't leave us guessing. It straight up names these specific divine beings whose power is being called upon to make this Golden Bell Shield happen. And that list of names gives us another really fascinating insight. And this is where we get a peek into the amazing complexity of Chinese folk religion. The user is calling on the Jade Emperor, the top god in the Taoist pantheon, but they also call on Guanyin, a beloved bodhisattva in Buddhism who is known for compassion, and they invoke ancestral masters from Taoist traditions. It's like they're not taking any chances. They're calling in the heavy hitters from all across the spiritual spectrum. The manuscript even makes this connection totally explicit. It uses the phrase 佛门弟子, which literally means disciple of the Buddhist gate. So the person using this talisman clearly identified as a Buddhist, even while they were calling on all these figures from other traditions. This mixing of beliefs actually has a name. It's called religious syncretism. And it's something you see in folk practices all over the world. For the person who wrote this, the dividing lines between Taoism and Buddhism weren't a barrier. The goal was singular, protection, and they were going to use any and all divine powers they could to get it. All right, our final section, the power of the pen. So we've decoded the purpose, and we've figured out the pantheon of protectors. But that still leaves the most visually striking part of this document, those strange, swirling symbols that aren't words at all.
Let's pull back and look at the whole page again. You can see the standard Chinese characters we've been talking about, but woven among them and sometimes even dominating the page are these other, more abstract figures. They seem to flow with a logic that's all their own.
So what are they? Just some fancy doodles? Decorations? Absolutely not. In fact, these symbols might just be the most important part of this entire document. They are the engine that makes the whole ritual work. I mean, just look at the complexity here. It's not a picture of something, but it's clearly not random scribbling either. It is a deliberate, powerful design. This is the point where magic and writing become one and the same. These symbols are called fu. They are Taoist talismans. And here's the key idea, the part that's kind of mind-blowing. A fu isn't a drawing that represents something. It is a written command, an order issued directly to the spirit world.
The belief is that when a master brushes a fu, they're literally channeling cosmic energy into the ink, creating a tool with real supernatural power. So, here's the bottom line. The written prayers are asking for help from the gods, but the fu talismans, they command the spiritual energy to form that golden bell shield. They are the active ingredient, the mechanism that turns a prayer into a tangible protective force. And that's really what this manuscript is. It's a point of fusion. You've got the physical discipline of the body from the martial arts practice, the divine help from the spirit world of Taoism and Buddhism, and the direct supernatural force of magic, all channeled through these fu talismans. It all comes together on this one single piece of paper, a recipe for invulnerability. And it leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. For the person who created this, was there any real difference between the written word, a divine prayer, and a magical act? Or were they all just different facets of a single undeniable power?